Hi guys, so we are 8 weeks in. We've completed 8 weeks of school so far. We do a 6-in-1 schedule where we do school for 6 weeks and then we take a week off, and then we do 6 weeks and a week off, and on and on. This year we're doing 5 of those 6-week sessions, and then next year we'll do 6 of them because the kids will be a little older, and that will equal out to the number of days that they would be in public school. So now that we're into our school year a little ways, I thought it would be a good time to do a video going through our curriculum choices, talking about our progress, what works and what doesn't work for us, because at this point we know what needs to go, what we need to add in, what is and isn't working, and whether or not we're going to finish this year realistically. So I'll do a whole nother video on planning, and then another one on our schedule, but this in particular is just going to be a review and curriculum choices so far. So we're going to start with our group subjects. I should add real quick before I go any further, we are young elementary. All of my kids, I have a 2-year-old who's not really doing anything this year, but my other 2 are both young elementary. One is, I would say, like kindergarten level, and then the other one is somewhere between like 1st and 2nd grade level work. However, we don't state grade levels. We're just going, our county doesn't require us to, and we are just planning on doing school until they're 18, and if they want to do dual enrollment when they are in high school, that gives them the extra time instead of graduating early. So this is just, and none of the curriculum that we choose is a grade level based curriculum. It's just kind of group studies and just level, but not necessarily 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade curriculum. It's very loose, and you know, if a child is more advanced, you do the more advanced portion of the study. If they need something more simple, there's coloring pages. That's the kind of stuff that we use in our homeschool. So I will start with our group subjects. So I'll start with science. Last year we did Apologia Botany, and we really liked it. I will say that it was a co-op decision to do botany, and I probably wouldn't have ever chosen it on my own. It's probably the one we would have skipped if we had to skip one, but it was so interesting, and it was our first time using Apologia. And I was really surprised at how much information and how interesting they kept it. So we chose last year to go from botany, from the teeny tiny seeds and plants, take it grand scale, and do astronomy this year. I thought it was a really neat thing for the kids to see, I guess the might of God and the delicacy of God all in one big contrast there. So we are using Apologia Exploring Creation with Astronomy this year, and both of my kids are doing the Junior Notebooking Journal. Oop, that's upside down. They're both doing the Junior Notebooking Journal, and the way that we're doing astronomy is that we do 2 weeks per chapter, and so each of our 6 weeks, my brain is not working today. Each of our 6-week sessions of school, we cover 3 different chapters, and it ends up working out perfectly to where we're finishing the last chapter on the last week of school. My dad actually teaches them once a week. We do it 3 days a week. So he comes over on Wednesdays and I will on Mondays teach them a little bit, go over the chapter, and we start on the fascinating facts that they have inside. And then my dad will come and give and expand on it, and then we do our projects on Fridays. So we are finishing our 8th week of school, and they are finishing their 4th chapter, which is Earth. So we really, really, really like this. It's been great for the kids. My my youngest and my oldest are working together on it, and they've been able to retain all of the information so far. I haven't had to skip over anything, and I think it's very well done. I will say, if they were a little older, we would definitely be able to expand on more. Hey, what do you need? So we're definitely loving the astronomy so far, and we're right on. Okay, next, another group study that we do is geography, and we are just together using Evan Moore's Beginning Geography. I'll link all of these websites and curriculum below, not affiliate links, just plain old links from my computer. So this Evan Moore Beginning Geography, we go through 3 pages a week, and this is designed to be copied. You're supposed to make copies and do it as like maybe a classroom or group. So we are really, really enjoying this so far, and we just wrapped up lesson 24 and working together. So I do sit in the room with them while they use this and give them some guidance, but they both really enjoy. It's very, you see inside, it's very, it's not overwhelming for them. It comes with a few different maps and things for our walls, but just in general, it's a simple introduction to geography for them without being just overwhelmingly like too many words. It's a good mixture of pictures and words, and color this and draw a line to that, and it's very simple, worksheet based, and that seems to be what my son really does well with. So next I will go ahead, oh yeah, we do Story of the World for history. This is my favorite curriculum. Hey bud. Oh wow, you ate that super fast. Okay. We do Story of the World as our history curriculum, and when we first started, I did not think I was going to like this when it first arrived in the mail, but as we've gotten into it, I think out of everyone, I'm enjoying it, and I'm certainly learning a lot from it. I wasn't sure if doing another subject that was just based off of me reading to them was going to be too much reading and dictating or anything like that, but this has been a really beneficial subject, and the layout of it is great for us. And so the way that this works is you read, each chapter has a couple of different stories. You read one day and another day, and then the corresponding workbook has questions and narration for the kids to do, and then it also has coloring pages, map work, worksheets, and there's a few different project options.
Mommy, Bella did this herself.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like,
tell her I said that's awesome. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, there are many different project options. You cannot do them all in a week. It's pretty, like, there's everything from, you know, just using some oil and spices to make scented oil, to mummifying a chicken, like not a grocery store chicken, over weeks and weeks and weeks time, and that's just for one chapter. So there's many different directions you can go, different age groups, and this has been really awesome to do together as a family, and kind of works very well for my kids' ages, and we can tailor it to that, and as they get older we can do some of the more difficult things, but they are retaining all the information. And I love how it mixes like the biblical history in with not actual history, because it is actual history, but maybe what they would be learning in school. And it's a good connection for me, because I never knew, you know, that at the same time that this was going on in Egypt, this was going on in Israel, and it's a really, really unique way of learning history and incorporating biblical history. And so we are just doing volume 1, which is ancient times, and then we're not going to finish this year. This is about 80 something chapters. We do a chapter a week. We actually just finished chapter 6. We're a couple weeks behind, but that's because we kind of took some time to do some extra projects. And I am guessing that this will take us 1.5 school years to complete before we move on and do, you know, a 1.5 years. And the next, there's 4 volumes. So it will go from ancient civilizations all the way to the modern age. And I guess altogether will probably take us 6 years to work through all of it. And then my daughter will be doing some of the older high school history, and I'll probably roll back through it with my younger children. So that is history, and we are really, really liking this. This is just, I could go on, and I have gone on and on, but I really, 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 really like this curriculum. Okay, our next group study is this. I found this book at Disney World. I found it for like, I think it was, yeah, it was $15 at Disney. I got it for like $3 on eBay. So this is really neat curriculum, but we are not really working through it at a good pace. We're just kind of going through it slowly. Yes, you may, right there. Just one. We're going through it very slowly. No, that one. You may have that one. We're going through it slowly. We are 3 presidents in after 8 weeks. We're only doing it, go to sis. We're only doing it 1 day a week, just going on a little overview about said president, and either doing like one of the games, like crossword puzzles that they have for it, or doing a project that corresponds to that president. For example, when we did George Washington, we made a cherry pie. So they're pulling out the facts that are interesting to them, and we're writing it on a note card, sticking it on our wall, and then we do review them with our morning time. But like I said, we're only 3 presidents in. I had big plans to finish this year, but this is the one that's kind of maybe not gonna finish working through it this year. We'll have to see. I do like it, but just jammed into other things that we're learning. I'm not pushing it quite yet. It might be something that after Christmas I put down and we pick back up next school year. We are also kind of slightly working through 5 in a row still. 5 in a row is, I love 5 in a row. It is working into our school here and there, but we used to do it every week a couple years ago and last year. This year we have done 3 books, and we'll do some more next semester. This year we're working on, maybe this semester we're doing a little more unit study type to do with Thanksgiving or what we're learning in our story of the world. But I do love 5 in a row, and we will keep doing it here and there. We'll sprinkle it into our homeschool until my youngest is outgrown it, because I really like the concept. But it's kind of, their curriculum's great, but I think the idea of how to do that curriculum can apply to any kind of book or unit study that you're doing. So I do like some of these books, but we also work that theory of 5 in a row into some other books that go along with what we're learning in other subjects. And then we have Rosetta Stone Spanish. We have not begun this yet. We are going to start in January. I did want to start the beginning of this school year, but we're introducing too many new curriculums. This will, for the time being, just be my daughter doing this with my husband, and my son will come along and do it at his own level maybe next year. So this is kind of a family study, but they're all going to be in different places with it. And this would just be on the school computer. I have levels 1 through 5, and it's the homeschool version of Rosetta Stone Spanish. It's the Latin American Spanish, which is what I learned and became fluent in. And it's been really helpful for me we live in Florida, so it's very, it's not uncommon to need to speak Spanish here, and I am looking forward to them doing this homeschool version of the curriculum. And then what did not work out for our group studies this year was Prairie Primer. I really want to do Prairie Primer maybe when my daughter's a little bit older and we're kind of in the modern-ish time. Oh, I guess it wouldn't be modern. But when we're studying this with our history, I can see this going along with what we're learning better. But like I said, I didn't expect to be so interested, or for them to be so interested in Story of the World. So we're learning about ancient civilizations, and we're kind of learning about the presidents. And I just felt like adding in one more different time period into what we're learning would just be a little overwhelming for them to remember what they need to. And we have years and years left of our homeschool, and I don't need to cram it all into this year. So we're taking it slow. Eventually, we will be doing Prairie Primer because I love it, and it's very similar to 5 in a row, but maybe just better for our family in a couple years. Okay, I forgot about one subject, which would be our read aloud time, which is, to me, the most important subject. If we do nothing else that day, we read out loud together. And the way that I do this is the kids have like spiral notebooks, and they just sit on the floor or in a beanbag or at the table, just depending on the day, and they illustrate as I read, because that just kind of helps them to pay attention a little more, but also have something to do with their hands so they're not just zoning out. And the read alouds that we choose are, right now we are kind of hooked on Magic Treehouse books. If you have any suggestions for more readers, okay, sorry, my neighbor knocked on my door and scared me to death. If you have any suggestions for readers for like those younger elementary years, please, please, please link them below. I always struggle with finding chapter books that are on the easier to comprehend side, and also books that, well, the way that we do this, we read about 2 chapters a day, and then I'll read a few pages, my daughter will read a page, just so that she's working on her fluency. She does have some silent reading time at the end of the day, and she kind of still is just, she's a really, really good reader, but I just really struggle with finding good books. So she's kind of reading Berenstain Bears books, or you know, just library books like the picture and story books. So but I would really like to work her toward doing more things like this. So if you have suggestions for any more books that would be appropriate for the younger elementary chapter, beginning chapter book kind of books, please, please, please let me know in the comments below, because I really would like to do something besides just the Magic Treehouse stories, because, you know, we've been doing them for a while now, and as much as we love them, I could use a little Jack and Annie break. So that's our other group subject. Moving on to our individual studies. For reading, my kids use All About Reading. My daughter has been using All About Reading for, this is her 3rd year. We only did like a half a year last year because we were just overcommitted. You did. So we are finishing All About Reading level 2 with her. She honestly is beyond this level, but we are still working through it because I think it's important for her. You want another one? To learn some of the rules, like why it works that way, why that word reads that way, because she just is a natural reader. So this is really great at teaching, going through, okay, I'm sorry, I have a very overwhelmed 2-year-old right now. So anyway, I was just saying I really like how this works through all of the rules of why. They make it fun. There are pictures and games and crafts, and it's a really great curriculum. It makes learning about grammar exciting, and she's always looking forward to the next lesson. And my son is doing All About Reading level 1. I have to say, my daughter, like I said, is a natural reader. She did level 1 and she worked through it. She did great. Kind of expected that from her. My son is not such a natural reader. We are right now on lesson 8. We're supposed to be doing 2 a week, but I have not been letting him move on to the next chapter chapter until I'm sure that he has understood something and his fluency is, he's doing well with his fluency. That being said, he is not overwhelmed by the fact that he's not picking up on it quickly. He's my child who, everything has to be perfect all the time. If you try to feed him, a banana and it breaks in half, he needs a whole new banana. If you are doing a worksheet and he messes up, you can't just erase it. You have to use whiteout. It has to be perfect. And So I was a little nervous starting a reading curriculum, worrying that he would have a fear of failure. But like I said, with the level 2, level 1, it's exciting. He loves it. The way that the whole program is laid out and the way that it works is exciting to them. It's movement. It's constant movement. They're doing flashcards, and they're doing tiles, magnet tiles, then they're doing a coloring page, and then they're doing a game, and they're reading a story, and it's just constant change, and they both have really done well and really enjoy the curriculum, and it is not stressful to teach. It's all laid out for me, and so we will continue with the All About Reading curriculum. We do not use All About Spelling. For spelling, this is my daughter's first year of doing spelling, and she is using Sequential Spelling Level 1. She's never been interested in... What's the matter? Okay, so as I was saying, my daughter was not interested in spelling, even phonetically, not interested in handwriting, and it was beyond not interested. It was like pressure on her, and I don't know why, but you know, she was reading fine. I wasn't concerned, because when I did try to push her, she started writing everything backwards, and now she doesn't do that any longer, but I could just tell it was like getting to her, and I just did not want that struggle over spelling. She has plenty of years to work that out. And then I came across Sequential Spelling, and we love it. It starts, you know, it's spelling based on word families. So, for example, it's, you know, planned, panned, spanned, tanned, canned. So she's learning the word families. And then another one would be, let's see, slots, clots, plots, blots, just learning the word families. And it does change it up. So, like, you know, it pulls in some words that she should already know from doing, you know, the lessons a couple days prior, and it'll throw that in there here and there to kind of, you know, change it up. But we love Sequential Spelling. We have the student workbook also, and I will say that she has not, I don't know if it's just developmental or if it's because of this curriculum, but she has not fussed through one lesson yet, and she is making progress. So they suggest that even if your kid is in middle school, that you start with level 1. If you fly through it, that's fine, but they always say to start with level 1. So thankfully she's young enough that starting at level 1, you know, wasn't like silly words. So it's a challenge, but she is developing with it, and it's great. We like Sequential Spelling a lot. And then I think last would be math. My son uses Horizons Math. My daughter used Horizons Math, the K and 1, and then before she moved to 2. So Horizons is kind of like a year ahead. So their kindergarten math is probably like the equivalent to another curriculum's first grade math. So before she moved, when she finished level 1, before she started level 2, I came across teaching textbooks. Now they start at a 3rd grade level, but teaching textbooks is known to be kind of a year behind. So the level 2 or the 2nd grade Horizons would be similar to the 3rd grade teaching textbooks. So I guess I just skipped ahead, but she's using teaching textbooks. She's on quiz 4. I wonder if it's written in here because it's on. We have a school computer. So quiz 4 is let's see here. Oh, okay. It's after problem set 28. So I guess that'd be because there's 28 lessons and then 4 quizzes. So I guess she's at 30 lesson, like a 30-second lesson. So if we do 5 days a week, we are on our 6th week. Yeah, she's right about where she should be. We try to do 1 a day, but when we skip a day with math, we don't go back and do, like we don't try to catch up. We don't do 2 lessons in a day because math used to be probably her biggest struggle. And so the fact that she's flying through this is amazing because me sitting down trying to teach her, she really wasn't understanding, and I didn't really know how to teach her what she was having problems with. So she has really, this has been the biggest surprise, I think, for me, that she's doing so well. She enjoys it a lot. There's a lot of graphics, and it's just like, you know, talking and the voices and it's like games, and it's kind of scribbled on the screen as she's listening to it. So it kind of hits all of the different learning styles in one curriculum. I really like it. She has not gotten below a 90. If she does get below a 90, I would ask her to redo the lesson, and I will sit through it with her. You get 2 shots for each problem, and so far I can look through and it shows you what how many attempts they made for each problem. So I'll look through it here and there, but until she gets below a 90, I don't really do the lesson with her. It's completely independent, and she has not yet gotten below a 90. So she's actually not gotten below a 95, which is huge for her because she really she used to just not, I don't know if she just struggled or if she didn't enjoy it, but I think it was just work for her, and it didn't come as easily as reading. So that was a difficult one for us, and I am very pleased with teaching textbooks, and I really do think that we will probably stick through it as long as she wants to. But anyway, back to the Horizons. My daughter did not have a good time when we were doing this, but I decided to go ahead and try it for my son because he's very worksheet driven and likes everything laid out neat and clean. He's actually been ahead of schedule. So I've been bringing in like, you know, the counting bears and patterning and some fun magnetic math problem sets for him to kind of slow him down. Not that I want him to slow down, but I just don't want him to finish the year too early and then just because I won't move into the second book if he finishes this year, so that'd be way too long of a break in the summer. So he is on lesson 43. He's doing great with it. He's not actually quite old enough to have mastered writing his numbers, so sometimes his numbers are flipped around backwards, but I think it's kind of funny because like here, for example, his 7s for 5 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7, they're not right. But I think it's adorable because he actually understands addition and graphing and things like that before he quite understands how to write his numbers, which I think is really, it's really cute. He is now counting by tens, by ones and tens, and it kind of, what I really like about Horizons is that it pulls different ideas and then revisits them, but it never sits there and like drills the same idea. So like if you're learning money, it doesn't sit there and you don't do a whole lesson on pennies and dimes, pennies and dimes, pennies and dimes for days. It introduces the idea in one part of the book, then you do some tracing, and then you might do some patterning, and then the next day you might do some working on some time, and then it'll bring back in those pennies and dimes, and it just kind of moves around enough that it keeps his interest. And then also, I know this is a fault for some people, but it's very colorful. There's constantly pictures to look at, and it keeps him entertained. So that has been, this is a subject that I basically set in front of him and I read him the instructions and he just does it, and he just stays on the paper and he doesn't complain about it like he complains about his tracing pages because they're boring to him. But so there's that. And then lastly, what I don't have to show you is we do Write Start or Start Write. I'll also link that below. It was like a $20 computer program we bought 3 years ago, and I type up their, whether it be Bible verses or just, you know, their name and address or just fun, silly sentences. You can change what type of, whether you want it like the dotted lines to trace, whether you just want it to be really light gray but the full solid lines, and if you want the lines to be this big, or if you want that center line or the red line underneath to drop down their letters, you can just change that up. So I use Start Write or Write Start, I can't remember what it is, for both of them. And my son is using like the big print, and my daughter is she's learning to write a lot smaller. That's what we're really working on with her, because she still writes like, you know, the preschool line size. She's not quite mastered shrinking down those letters at all, so we're still using a handwriting curriculum or program for her. So I think that's it. I don't think there were any individual subjects that didn't work out for us. Yeah, I can't think of anything. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them my way, and if you have any suggestions for the books, like I said earlier, please send those to me. I would love to know what curriculums you use, if you use something different. If you use the same curriculum, let me know how you guys do it below, and keep an eye out next week for our video on our homeschool schedule. Bye!